I wanted to talk to you guys for a brief bit about something. Now, you guys know that I am a physical media collector, basically, when it comes to everything. When it comes to movies, music, video games, even though I don't really collect video games like I used to, but if there is a video game that I do want, I will pick it up in physical format. I want the actual disc, and that's how I am, especially with music and movies, especially. But I want to talk about one of the issues that I have, and one of the sort of cons, you could say, to being a physical media collector. Now, this has especially been for music for me personally, but there does eventually get to a point, like if you've been collecting for a very long time, whatever it is, like I said, especially when it comes to movies and music, if you've been collecting for a long time, you do eventually get to a point where it does start to slow down a little bit. It gets to a point where you're like, okay, what else do I need for the collection? There's like a limited selection, as I guess you can say. Like when you go to a record shop or some kind of store that's like FYE or something, and you look around and you're like, well, I can't really think of anything that I need. Like especially for CDs for me, like when I go to an exchange store, like there's not really much that I need, you know? And that's what I've been feeling lately. I don't know if it's just like time for me to get into more bands. And, usually that'll happen, that's usually like when I'll next collect CDs is usually when I get into another band. But I haven't really been getting into many bands this year. Come to think of it, I've really only gotten into 3 bands so far this year, which is not many. I mean, it's more than the amount of bands I would have gotten into like 10 years ago, but still. And for movies, I'm starting to notice that with movies as well. Like, I'm starting to notice, okay, like, what is there else to get? I mean, there are definitely some movies that are on my radar that I do want to get for the collection, but, a lot of the movies, I have to get on Amazon because they're really hard to find in stores, especially since I like a lot of martial arts stuff, a lot of that, you kind of have to get on Amazon because, I don't know what it is. I don't know if, people in the West don't care about those types of movies, but, and especially when it comes to the Scott Adkins movies, I mean, I like Scott Adkins. I am a fan of his movies, but I've started to notice, like, it's really difficult to find a lot of his stuff in local stores. So I have to look for his stuff, like, on Amazon or something. So there you go. But, this is an occurring thing that I've started to notice, again, especially for music. I mean, there's just not really anything else for me to get. I mean, when it comes to getting into different bands, I really can't think of any bands to really look into at the moment. I mean, I know that there's some people that want to give me a list a mile long of some bands to check out. Like, oh, Zach, you should check out this band, you should check out that band. But the thing is with me lately, when it comes to checking out bands, like, yeah, guys, I'm sure the bands that you're recommending to me are good bands, don't get me wrong, but I think I'm just at this point in my musical journey where I want something different, I want to listen to something that I typically don't listen to. Like this year I started to get a little more into alternative rock, bands like Live, for example. Like, if I would like more of that, like that's kind of what I'm feeling lately. So yeah, but of course, nothing wrong with getting into more bands of thrash and prog and, you name it, but again, I like a little something different, something that's outside of those, Now, more prog would be nice, of course, you know, but this is just how I've been feeling lately, and this is one of the struggles to being a collector. I think no matter what the form of entertainment is, like, there does get to a point where you do start to notice, a lack of things that you need. Now there is of course the idea of new releases, but that could be hit or miss because I know that DVDs, new movie releases for DVD and Blu-ray usually come out on Tuesday. I think every Tuesday there's something new, and that's always going to be hit or miss because it's not like every Tuesday there's going to be something that you're interested in. So there you go. But I would say every month there is something that will interest me. So that's at least something. So there you go. But this is just an occurring thing that I've started to notice recently. So, but let me know what you think. Is this an occurring issue that you've been noticing? Are you starting to notice that there's a lack of things that you've been needing, as far as collecting is concerned, and are you a collector? And is this a struggle that you've been noticing for you personally? Feel free to let me know. So, on that note, thanks for watching. Have a good one.